Hey everybody, first of all, massive apologies for not making a video for like 6 months. I've just been quite busy and stuff, and the last few times I've tried to make a video I felt like a bit of a boob talking to myself for some reason, and didn't really go very well. But I'll try again today. And what I'm playing at the moment is this. I'm playing UFO by Guru Guru. This was the first Guru Guru album, which was released in, I think, 1970 or 1971, if I remember correctly. This is a reissue, obviously. This is a reissue, 1998 reissue, I think it is, on ZXY records, but it's gatefold with all the original artwork and everything, the original all ear sensor labels and everything, which is really good. I love Guru Guru. Really enjoying that. Okay, so I've got a big pile of bits and pieces today. The first thing I've got is this. This is the last Nick Cave album, Push the Sky Away, and I just sort of accidentally bought this the other week because I think I'd bought something else which turned out to be a bit scratchy, so I took it back to the shop and the guy said, "Oh, just change it for whatever you like," and I sort of wasn't, you know, I sort of got this just, I sort of wanted just something to listen to really, and I ended up actually really enjoying it. This is the only thing of his new stuff I've got. It's really lovely. It's really nice, really nice and mellow actually. I'm thoroughly enjoying that. There's some really great songs on it. The opening track's great. I really like Jubilee Street's a good song. We Real Cool Higgs Boson Blues, that's a really good song as well. I think it's quite well known. There was that 20,000 Days on Earth movie when he's sort of making it and stuff. I think I saw that on film 4 quite recently, I think. That's really good though, yeah. And as well, I just sort of realised, inadvertently, I've actually got quite a few Nick Cave albums. I'm not mad on Nick Cave, but I do quite like him, and I appear to be sort of just accumulating his albums at random, which is quite weird without through any fault of my own. I've got this one. I've got the first editions of the first 2 Nick Cave albums on mute, which I got ages ago. I think I've showed these before actually, so I won't chat about them too long. That's the first one, Her to Eternity, with a very young looking Nick Cave on the front, and the original Bad Seeds line up on the back, with Blitzer Bargeld and Mick Harvey and everybody. Yeah, again I've got that one as well. First One Is Dead, first edition on mute. I got both of those at a car boot sale in Dagfields, I think there was £7, I think, which is really good for Nick Cave albums. So I've not played those too massively. They're very, they take a little bit of getting into, definitely. As well, I've also got this one, original copy of Your Funeral, My Trial, which is a double album on mute. My friend bought me that as a birthday present, I think, a year or 2 ago. This one I really like. It's got some really wacky tracks. I really like the Carney's a really wacky song. But yeah, so again, not something I planned to get, but it was something sort of gifted to me, which was quite nice. As well, I've also got this one, Henry's Dream. I found this extremely cheaply, and I think it was in my local shop actually, and it turned out this is a first edition, but it's also a sort of a special edition first edition, because some of them came with a print in. It was sort of a rarer version that had like a Nick Cave sort of print of the cover in, which is what this one is, and that turned out to be actually really quite rare. This is a good one as well. This is probably, out of the ones I've shown, this is probably my favourite one actually. The opening track on it is really good. Papa Won't Leave You, Henry. It's really good. This one's, I think, a lot more easy to get into than the others. I sometimes struggle to get into his stuff properly, but this one's definitely really nice. It's a good sort of midway album from where he is now to how he started off, I think. Yeah. As well, tying in with the Nick Cave stuff, recently I have got some Einstürzende Neubauten bits and pieces as well, because I'm a big, anyone who knows me, I'm a big industrial head, so this is Collapse, but in it, I'll show you that after, that's Collapse, that's the first Neubauten album, on Zigzag. There was sort of 3 initial sort of runs of this. This is the sort of second run of it, the EFA, with the EFA logo there, and the little rings thing. I think the original of this came with like a booklet in, which I would love to see. If anyone's got an original one with the booklet, if they'd like to send me some scans of that, I'd love to have that pop in here. That's a wonderful photo of them on the back as well, with all their drills and homemade instruments and things, and I really rate Neubauten. I think they're a really unusual group. I think the only group you could sort of compare them to, possibly sort of Throbbing Gristle, but they had a sort of completely different sound and aesthetic and vibe about them, with all that sort of destruction and this, rather than the kind of the Throbbing Gristle had a more kind of subversive, kind of pervy aesthetic to them. But that's really great. I fully recommend that. It's a good one to get into them straight away. And as well, I got this was an absolute bargain. This is Einstürzende, which was I think the first sort of single proper that you could get by them, which ties in with that very well. It's very similar year, I think the same year in fact, or not far off. And this is a kind of a double gatefold 7-inch, which is really cool. As well, this is an original, I think, first 1,000 copies version as well, which had, there was a sort of later version of it. This is, you can see there, this is sort of a large punched centre hole that you need to put an adapter in, obviously. There was there are later ones which just got a standard small hole, but this is an original old large hole version, double set. So and that was a bargain as well. That's really great. I played that today actually. Really good. I'll just pop that back in there. I'm going to look out for a few more bits and pieces for Neubauten. There's a lot of the early stuff I'd like to have. It's all on cassette, which is the original stuff is on cassette. There's a few vinyl bits I'm after at the moment. The first Some Bizarre one I'd like to have. Let's say that's great. That's a really nice little find. That I think it was an eBay job. I think that was eBay for about 12 quid or something like that. But that's very unusual. Don't see many of those. As well, subtitling the industrial stuff. I don't know if I've shown this before. I thought I'd better throw it in. I don't know if I've ever shown it. This is one of my favourite albums actually. Took me a long time to find. I've had it for a year or 2 years maybe. Horse Rotivator by Coil. Coil was the band of Balance and Christopherson from Throbbing Gristle, Psychic TV. This is, I cannot describe it, this is an absolute stonking record. I'm not going to be able to describe how good it is unless you play it. This is a real good album. Some of the tracks are great. Anal Staircase, that's a good song. That was released as a 12-inch single, I think. But there are some absolutely austere, the track Austere on it. Look that up in a minute. Do it. That is one of my all-time favourite tracks, definitely. It's got this sort of lovely, sort of weird baroque thing with all sort of real strings and fake strings all sort of combined up together and layered up and things. And the vocals, fantastic. John Balance vocals, really good. That's an original first edition on Force and Form. There is a reissue of it that you can get floating about, like an unofficial bootleggy version, which I don't recommend because I think the track ordering is different and it's missing some of the original a song on or something like that. I'm pretty sure. So stay away from that. If you can get an original one, really worth having. It's got this sort of little paper insert as well, and that's all your sort of acknowledgements and contact information and things like that. which is great. Coil stuff is absolutely ripe for reissuing at the moment. There must be some legal thing around them doing their albums again or something, because their stuff is impossible to find and it's very expensive. They would be great if we could get some nice new Coil albums. I'd like to have Scatology as well. Scatology, the first one, just before this album. This was 1986. This one. I'd love to have that, but again, you're looking at 40 or 50 quid for a bad copy, you know. There is an album as well after, I think, which sort of rejected tracks from this album on an album after this. I can't remember what it's called now for the life of me. The Gold. I can't remember. It's something gold. It got gold in the title, but that's another one on vinyl I'd like to get as well. That's really good. Thoroughly recommend that though. Horse Rotavator, Coil. This took me ages to get. This is the Downward Spiral by 9 Inch Nails. I think everyone's heard of that album. That's a very famous album. 1994. This is a original first edition as well, which took me ages to get. This is probably one of my all-time favourite albums. Actually, 9 Inch Nails are probably one of my favourite bands. This album is superb. This is on a lovely gatefold, all the proper artwork in. It's on quite a complicated mash of labels: Interscope, Nothing, Island Records, TVT as well. I think it's got TVT logo on there as well, so it must be. But this is really, really brilliant. It took me a long time to find a nice. This is absolutely perfect condition as well. It took me a long time to find a good original copy of that. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with that. It's got some very famous. That's Closer, the single. That was a very, very successful track. That's probably that is the best 9 Inch Nails album, definitely. Not up for debate, in my opinion. That is the best one. I would love to have some more 9 Inch Nails albums as well, but they're again, for some reason, extremely expensive as well. Even though some of the ones that aren't that old, like With Teeth and With Teeth especially, that's extremely rare and expensive, and it's only a few years old really, if you think about it. So, well, that is superb though. I love it. It's got fantastic artwork as well. I'd get it out to show you. The centre labels have got superb sort of little cuts of this artwork on it as well, with no text. Looks really great. So that's that one, Downward Spiral.